And you know what? The other issue with the Panthers, and we may as well bookend Monday, we saw what played out when you have an owner who interjects himself into the operation of the team excessively and screws everything up. I would say David Tepper and Jim Irsay don't have a lot in common on the surface. One guy earned his money. One guy was given everything. One guy speaks well, not all that charming, but speaks well extemporaneously. The other guy, who the hell knows what he's saying? But at the core, the problem is they are both too hands-on. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. There's a sweet spot for owners to fall in. You want to be present, just merely being there in the building. Make the team facility your primary office. You're there. It just adds something. Sims and I have talked about this. When Sims said, when he was playing in Tampa, when ownership's there, it's different. When he was working for the Patriots, when Mr. Kraft's in the building, it's a different feeling. So you're there. But you're not doing too much. You're trusting the people you've hired to do the job of running the team because they're the experts and you're not. You're there for support. You're there on those moments where there is need for a big decision to be made. You can be a sounding board, and they can make sure that you're on board with it. But you don't want to try to do too much. And, Charean, the problem with the Panthers is I feel like David Tepper, who has been wildly successful through his own creativity, resourcefulness, and raw hard work, thinks he can just turn those qualities to a football team, and through the sheer force of the will that made him $17 billion, can make all the right moves to will his team to be good. And the harder he tries, he's squeezing a handful of Jell-O, and the Jell-O is going everywhere. So I am gently going to disagree with your take, although I'd say the roster right now is set up well. The impediment for it to becoming the best roster it can possibly be and become a perennial contender is, ironically, coincidentally, whatever, it's the guy who wants that team so badly to be great, the owner of the team.
Yeah, and it's a great point, Mike. I just meant more on the talent. I think I would take the Panthers. I love their defensive talent. I think it's very good.
No,
I think they have
I agree with you.
That team.
It's a good conversation. I'm not disagreeing with you. They're going to reach a limit. There's going to be a point where they can't get any farther because the owner is trying his damnedest to push them farther instead of just letting it all play out.
Yeah, and it's a legitimate point. It's a great point. Maybe he finds that sweet spot. Maybe he hires a coach. It's not going to be Sean Payton. There's no way possible the Saints let trade Sean Payton to the Panthers. But maybe they get a coach like that who says, a big name coach who says, look, you're going to have to step back, take a step back, like Bill Parcells did when he came to Dallas with Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones did take a step back and let Bill Parcells run things when he was in Dallas. And maybe that's what it takes. Maybe it takes that type of coach, bring that type of coach in, and the coach to have that ability to say, look, you just need to get out of my way right now. And we'll do this and we'll do it together, but you've got to get out of the way and let me do my thing. And so if he does that, this team has a legitimate chance to win and win in a hurry if they get the right coach and the right quarterback and the owner takes a step back. If he doesn't, you're right. There's going to be a ceiling to how far they go. We've seen it.
So much easier said than done, though, for the multi-billionaire who is not used to being told anything that multi-billionaire doesn't want to hear. Because once Parcells was gone in Dallas, Jerry never took a step back again, although
no question.
They're kind of like trying to finesse him now, Steven and others, to not be as involved. But, Jimmy Haslam, a prime example, guy in Cleveland that is involved more than he should be. And, it can scare away good coaches. I think David Tepper is one of the reasons why, even if the Saints would trade the rights, it's essentially a trade of the contractual rights of Sean Payton to Carolina, I don't know that Sean Payton would want to work with David Tepper because I don't know that he would trust Tepper to leave him alone. Remember the year that Daniel Snyder decided he was going to take a step back? This was early in his ownership of the Washington franchise. Hired Marty Schottenheimer, gave him the keys, got out of the way, cleared out Vinny Serrato, who was the right-hand man for Snyder in those early years, and Snyder couldn't help himself. After 1 year, he fired Marty Schottenheimer and paid out like $20 million over 4 years on the back end, which was top of the market at the time, because he just couldn't help himself, and that's the problem. So we've learned a lot about that this week in two different contexts. The Colts more notoriously and obviously, but it's more subtle but still unmistakable with the Carolina Panthers. And credit to Arthur Blank. I mean, he's owned that team 20 years now. And, yeah, they had a Super Bowl in hand, and he supports and gets out of the way and lets his football people make football decisions. But I think he does like to be involved. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your team. I'm not saying that somebody who has paid all that money and actually is the one who owns the equity in the team should do nothing. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.